Welcome everyone, this is Ultrahang. My name is Jonathan Imre Nagy-Bato and our guest today is Petr Bystron, Member of Parliament for AfD in the European Parliament. Thank you for accepting our request.
Yeah, hello Jonathan, welcome and nice greetings to all Hungarian friends.
First of all, I would like to congratulate you for the excellent results in the elections in Saxony and Thuringia. The electoral victory in Thuringia was the first state election victory in the history of the AfD. How do you assess the elections?
Yeah, thank you. It's historic. Even the mainstream media, they are admitting that it's a historic victory for AfD. We are a very young party. We were established just 11 years ago, and now we won elections in one state, and we nearly won the election in the other state. It was really very, very close, just 1% difference to the CDU. So we are very successful, very powerful in those two countries. And very important, we really we have beaten the ruling coalition of socialists, Greens, and liberals. They are really smaller. Altogether, they are smaller than AfD.
Although you won in Thuringia and came second in Saxony, the party did not achieve the 50% needed to win sole government in either of these
step by step.
Yeah, step by step. Who do you plan to form a coalition to form a government in these states?
It's quite clear that we will not be able to form the coalition because the potential partner, CDU, the Conservative Party, their head of the party, the Bundes, the federal, on the federal level, they did a decision that they may not make a coalition with us. On the state level, those people they would like. I know many members of the parliaments in Saxony. They have very good relationship to our members of the parliament since years. Their policies are quite similar. They would like to do what we are proposing, but they may not. So this will produce a real tension within the CDU, within the Conservative Party, because their voters, they people, they want that we rule with them together, or that they rule with us together. And their federal heads, they don't want it. So I can say this will cause problems within the CDU in the next years.
That's how democracy works in Germany.
Well, I mean, democracy, that's a good point. I mean, what is it for democracy? Look at the results in Saxony. If the CDU will try to rule, they have to make a coalition with socialists, with communists, with Greens. You know, they can somehow stick a majority together. But what policy can you do if you are a Conservative Party and you have to do a coalition with socialists, with communists? With Greens, and Greens are in fact also ultra left, and in Thuringia it's very similar or the same. They would have to do a coalition with communists, or a split of communists with the Sarah Wagenknecht coalition and socialists.
Can this event, that no one wants to form a coalition with you, can this event increase your popularity, the party popularity in Germany?
Well, I don't know if I would express it this way, but let's look on it. Why have we won the elections now? Because we are the only populist party in the country. Populists mean that we are really doing what the people want. And the other parties, they are globalist parties. They're just promising and before elections what the people want to hear, but then they don't do it. And it was really significant especially on the questions about migrations, that the other parties are not willing to change their policy in spite of the will of the people. The big majority of Germans, they wish a radical change in the immigration policy. And this step, well, this is back to your question. If the other parties will exclude the AfD from power, it means that they are just excluding the wish of voters. They are, for the next months and years, going to continue their policy, which is against their own people. So the logical step will be that more and more people will say, okay, then I don't elect them again. I will give my vote to the AfD too, because they will see that the only possibility is to strengthen the AfD to get what they really want.
It's a very fresh news that, according to Tagesschau, because of a software problem, you lost one mandate in Sachsen. What's your opinion about that?
Well, we lost one mandate, and the CDU lost also one mandate, and on the other side, those mandates were given to Socialists and to Greens. It's about the change of how the votes are counted. It's a process. Formerly it was the Hahn process. Now it's something else. I mean, such things happen. I would rather propose that all votes are counted again, especially the 5.1 of the Greens, because this can be put down. It happened really often in the history of German elections that, for example, new parties or right-wing parties, they got just 4.9%. It happened to the Republicans. It happened even to the AfD in the very first Bundestag election, and they didn't pass the 5% border. And on the other side, the FDP, the Liberals, they passed several times with 5.1 or 5.0, and now the Greens, they are showed as with the result 5.1. Maybe it is in reality just 4.8 or 4.9. So this should be controlled. But there was a statistical error of counting. It is how it is. It's not nice for the AfD because we lost with this one seat. We lost kind of blocking majority. If we had this one more seat, we would be able to block many decisions in the parliament. Therefore, of course, it should be controlled. All the votes should be counted again. It's a very important point.
You mentioned that CDU decided in the federal level that they don't want to form a coalition with you. From Hungary, it is hard to understand why two parties that claim to be right-wing do not fight against the overpowering left. Why is it that no one in Germany, even CDU, doesn't want to make alliance with AfD?
Yeah, well, this is easy to explain because CDU, the heads of the CDU, they are not longer conservative. They are not right-wing party. Look at this. How are they behaving? Not only in Germany but especially in the European Parliament. After the last elections to the European Parliament, right-wing conservative parties, on paper conservative, we have the majority in the European Parliament. We could rule whole Europe. And what is doing the German CDU, the so-called conservatives? They blocked the whole Viktor Orban group, in spite of this is the third strongest group, together with Lega, with others, they block them. They are not doing coalition with us. They are not forming a conservative coalition. On contrary, Ursula von der Leyen did alliances with leftists, with communists, with Greens, just to be elected. Of course, she will then be enforced to make compromises even in the daily politics. So, in fact, the CDU is a very woke, a very leftist party, and that's the result. They don't want the basic conservative values. They are not fighting for the basic conservative politics. That's the explanation why they are not trying to make a coalition with us. Of course, this is not all the members. Many members on a state level, not on the federal level, they would like to do it. And again, I think this will produce heavy problems, internal problems for the so-called conservative CDU.
I would like to ask one more question about the lost mandate. Do you think this mandate was taken away from you for a reason, or it was like an accident?
Again, it was not taken from us. They changed the system how to count the votes. So, of course, before the election, the old parties, they were thinking about how to minimize the impact of the AfD. So maybe this change, this previous change of the way of counting was done to avoid us from power. But well, now it went a legal way, so this is correct. But we should control if the votes were counted correctly, because this is really very, very close, everything. We got 30.6%, CDU 31.9%, and as I said, especially the Green Party, the 5.1% of the Green Party should be controlled. Maybe there would be, again, bigger changes with the seats in the parliament.
This year we saw the formation of Germany's youngest party, the Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, which came third in both elections. What do you think of this new left-wing group?
Oh, well, this is a one-man show. In fact, the party is even called Sarah Wagenknecht, the Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht. So they have a poster woman, a very, very well-known communist, who is a good-looking woman. She was heavily pushed by the mainstream media, by the state-owned media 1 year before. This way she gained a high popularity. And on this, you see that she is supported by mainstream. Just one example, she was able to sell her book last year, and she generated 700,000 euro margin. She earned 700,000 euro by selling the book. And this was due to really heavy presence on the state-owned television quite every week. And if somebody like this is pushed by the system, you know that it is, that the system wants that she survives, that she got the option to rule. And now we see the result. And now even the formerly so-called conservative CDU is saying that they would work together with her, in spite of she's coming from the communists, she is a really heavy communist.
Were you thinking about to make a coalition with them, or it was like impossible from the first minute?
I think it wouldn't work because we are we can imagine is to work in certain fields together with them because they have the same attitude towards the war in the Ukraine. This is the main point we have in common. We are both against the war. We are both against buying more weapons for taxpayers' money. And this is where we could work together. But all other fields would be very difficult.
Many people here in Hungary think that AfD is just a protest populist party which does not win votes because of its program or its message, but because of it's a protest party. What is the program of the party that has basically successfully reached millions of people?
Yeah, well, but this is fake news which is successfully spread by the mainstream media from the very beginning of the existence of our party. And the mainstream media, they always said, oh, this is just one topic party. They don't have a program. But the funny thing was that they changed this one topic. So they were saying 3 times after each other, this is just one topic party, but they changed the topic. So they proved themselves that they were lying about this one topic party. So we should be at least 3 topics party. But the truth is we have a program which has more than 100 pages. So we're covering the full political spectrum of German politics. But the main point is, of course, and even in those elections, the main point was how to handle a migration, the illegal migration to Europe, to Germany. And we are the only party which said quite clear that we don't want all the criminals, we don't need so many migrants, we would send them back to their home countries. And this is what makes the difference to all other political parties in Germany.
Are you afraid that as the AfD becomes more and more successful, the central German government will try to build people into the party who will destroy the unity from inside?
For sure, this is happening. This is happening from the very beginning. There is a mechanism which was already applied on other political parties which were established in the 80s and the 90s. The state has a system of secret police, observation. They are applying this all on us already since years. I was personally also targeted by the Secret Service. It was everything illegal. Afterwards, I won in courts, but you cannot read it in the mainstream media that we won those courts. They're doing it, but it has less and less impact. The people, they don't care anymore, and they vote for us. You see it. We won the election in Thuringia in spite of Björn Höcke as the head of the party, and he was the most heavily attacked political person in the last 10 years, I would say. And they claiming he is right-wing extremist, and I don't know what everything else. I don't want to even repeat these accusations, but you see, the people don't care. They voted him, and he won the election, so he's the election winner.
Also, one of the costs of popularity is that more attention is being drawn to the party. Are you afraid that this will bring the party one step closer to being banned?
Yeah, well, of course. These attempts are already there. So they are trying to forbid our party. And in Germany, everything is possible. I mean, it would be completely illegal. But the government already has done a lot of illegal steps, and I think they may even try this, just to destroy us and to damage the party for years. I'm sure they would win, in the courts, but it takes some years, and it would make a big damage to the AfD. So it's possible that they will do it.
It is a failure of the mainstream media that the AfD has been so successful. Do you expect that the party to come under even stronger attacks from the media?
I'm not sure if it's even possible to get stronger attacks, because we are heavily attacked every day, and I don't know if they can make even more. I think it will continue because the mainstream media are how they are. The biggest part is state-owned. And it's a really heavy complex. Just to give you one number, the German publicly owned television receives more than 9 billion euro a year. They have a budget of 9 billion euro. And just to comparison, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is also public television, and they are covering space which is much more bigger than the German. They need just $900 million. So the German public television complex gets 10 times more money than the Canadian. And you can imagine for what the money is. I would say this is a clearly corruption money, because the biggest part of it is spent on salaries of the employees there, and even for the salaries after not salaries, but the rent, and when they leave the television, and they still paid from the money, and they are getting higher money in every position than in comparable jobs in a private media. And this is how it works. Everybody working in the public sector media, the people know that they are earning over average, really wide over average. And this makes them why they spread the propaganda of the government.
You already mentioned Björn Höcke. He was the subject of several articles in the run-up to the election, in which he was accused of being a fascist. Many such articles occurred in Hungary as well. Let's make it clear, who is Björn Höcke?
Well, Björn Höcke is an ordinary guy. He was a teacher on a gymnasium, and is a really nice person. I know him personally, but let me explain how this fascist image was created. This is a creation by the system, by working hand in hand with Secret Service and media. Look what happened. Björn Höcke said on a public meeting, "Oh well, let's do everything for our country, do everything for Thuringia, everything for Germany." And somebody went to court and said, "Whoa, everything for Germany, this is a Nazi slogan, and he should be punished for that." And the trial decided to charge Björn Höcke for this sentence, everything for Germany. If you would ask people if they know this slogan, quite nobody knows that it was used in the past. There are historians who said, well, it was used in the past, but it was not a Nazi slogan, not really a Nazi. The socialists were using it. Conservatives were using it. It was a period after the First World War when quite all parties said, let's do everything for Germany. So it was quite common. But he was charged for that as if he used it because it was Nazi. So it was not Nazi, but he was found guilty in front of a court. And because he was found guilty on court, the media are allowed to write about that. And they can say, well, he was using a Nazi parole. This is crazy. And there was also other decision of a court which was about the free speech. You know, somebody called him, he's a fascist, and the court decided not if he is fascist or he is not fascist, but the court decided just, well, you have the freedom to call him a fascist, as well as you can call Chancellor Olaf Scholz. You can say he is a fascist because this is your free speech. You know, you can express this opinion if you want. And now they are creating from those two things. The media are repeating and saying, yeah, he was charged because he was using a Nazi parole, and it is allowed to call him a fascist. So, and this is how they create this image of right-wing extremists.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it is, but this is how it works.
Sadly. But there will be elections in Brandenburg at the end of September, where the AfD is also one of the main contenders. What do you expect in the Brandenburg elections?
Yeah, in Brandenburg will happen exactly the same as now in Saxony and in Thuringia. We will win the election, or we will be much more stronger than before. Look what happened here in Thuringia. The socialists, they got just 6.1%. The Greens are below 5%, so they had just 3%, you know. And SPD, traditional socialist party, which was ruling the country for years and years, they are now at 6.1%, and in Saxony on 7%. So they are close. They are falling down close to the 5% limit. In the next elections, the socialist will also lose a lot of voters, I'm sure, and the AfD will become stronger. So it will be also very interesting, the results at the end.
But the most important question is what will happen in the federal level. Next year there will be also parliamentary elections in Germany. The AfD is the second strongest party right now in your country. What are the AfD's aims for the elections? Who would you form a coalition with?
Yeah, first thing which is clear after those two elections is that the people don't want this federal coalition. They hate the policy that the socialists with the Greens and with the liberals are doing. So they you said it, this is kind of protest on the state level. Of course, the people voted also against the federal government. And again, look at the results. The government parties, Socialists, Greens, and Liberal in Saxony, they have altogether, let me see, something 12%. You know, I mean, we have 30, and they have altogether 12. And in Thuringia, it's similar. They have something around 12%, 12% together. So this is a disaster just imagine that the ruling coalition, which is in power, they get 1/3 of the votes than the AfD, the opposition AfD. So I think it's quite clear that this coalition, it's done, it's passed. There must be a change on the federal level. And it's now even quite clear that so-called conservatives, the previously conservative CDU, will get enough votes, and AfD. So we could make a coalition on federal level, and again it will be most likely the same scenario like in those elections which happen now, that the CDU will say, no, we are not going to make a coalition with the AfD, and they will try then to create a coalition with the Greens or with Socialists, or even with Socialists and Greens. We will see the results. But again, they are globalists. They will ignore the will of the people, the will of the voters. They will do impossible coalitions across the political spectrum, left extremists with formerly right conservative parties, and just to avoid a populistic party on the power.
Well, that was Ultrahang with Petr Bystron. Thanks a lot for taking our call.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, and nice greetings to all Hungarian listeners.